Okay. So displacement reactions. So the reactions in which a more reactive ion replaces a less reactive ion from its compound are called displacement reactions. Okay. What do you understand by the word displacement?
Takes its place.
Takes over.
Yeah, something taking over, like substituting, like pushing something aside and takes its place, right? So that's displacement. So in this reaction, that is exactly what is happening. So a more reactive ion replaces a less reactive ion from its compound. So an example of displacement reaction is, I have a lot of this thing. So like this particular part is really important to figure out displacement reactions. A more reactive will be able to replace a less reactive. A less reactive will not be able to replace a more reactive ion. So you can think of it this way. If an element is more reactive, usko react karna pasand hai. So it will like to be in ionic state. If an element is less reactive, like think of silver, gold, they are not very reactive, right? So they don't like to be compounds, like they like to be as themselves, as elements. They don't like being a part of a compound. So only a more reactive ion can replace a less reactive ion. And the reactivity will depend on a lot of factors. It depends on the size of the ion, the electronic configuration, and mainly these two, but yeah, a few other factors as well. So you'll get the hang of reactivity when we do periodic classification and we talk more about metals and non-metals. I think a lot of you must have come across the reactivity series pehle also in 8th grade, I think. You guys remember it?
And last year also we did.
Last year
and
you had
8th grade.
reactivity series? 9th mein nahi tha na? You just had matter and...
No, miss, but you showed a slide for that.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so there is a reactivity series. So that's, it literally tells you how reactive something is. So potassium is like the most reactive, followed by sodium, followed by calcium, magnesium. Like this is the order of this thing. So there's lots of mnemonics to remember the reactivity series. This is one. YouTube pe dekho to there's like a lot of songs also. Yeah. So this, yeah.
Miss, why is there a bracket around carbon and hydrogen?
Why do you think they are like? Can you look at the pattern of all the elements and see why they are special? Like why they're in bracket?
They are
non-metal and all the others
Yeah.
are metal.
Correct. But still they're included because there are some context where it is important to know. Like it tells you one information. So presence of hydrogen, this is important because it basically, like this reactivity series, the elements that are there below hydrogen will not react with acids. The reason is that, can you give me example of acids? Any acids that you...
H2SO4.
H2SO4,
H2SO4, correct. HCl, HNO3. These are the main three acids you would work with. And what is common among all these acids?
Hydrogen.
Sulfuric acid.
Hydrogen.
What is common? I didn't ask about the names. So yeah, all of them contain hydrogen. Like hydrogen with an anion usually indicates acid. Like any compound that is capable of producing H plus is an acid. So the metals that are more reactive than hydrogen are able to kick hydrogen from its place and form compound with this. But the metals that are less reactive are not capable of, displacing hydrogen from here. So that's why placement of hydrogen kind of tells you, okay, which metals are reactive towards acids and which are not. Similarly, placement of carbon basically gives you information about which metals can be reduced with carbon, with coke. So I'm not sure how many of you have come across extraction of metals pehle, but if you have like randomly heard of it, extraction of iron, extraction of copper, like there are some elements where if you heat like iron oxide Fe2O3 with carbon, you are able to extract iron from it. Okay. So the metals that are below carbon, like carbon is able to displace them, which is why you can use carbon to extract those metals. The metals that are above carbon, even if you heat it with carbon, nothing's gonna happen. So placement of carbon and hydrogen, it's there in brackets because they're not metals, but they still have a place because they're giving you some kind of information. So using that information, you can make use of it. Okay, if I want this reaction with acids to take place, what can I do? Things like that. Okay. But yeah, to know about displacement reactions, it is important to know about the reactivity series. Reactivity series, like initially it is kind of difficult, but try to always get patterns from it. Okay. So you can see that the noble metals, silver and gold, niche platinum bhi hoga, they're always at the bottom of the reactivity series. And copper is one of the less reactive metals. Okay. Sodium, potassium, like those that have, like those that are parts of bases, right? Like NaOH, KOH, all these elements. So they are highly, highly reactive. So potassium, then sodium, then calcium, magnesium, these are highly reactive metals. Then followed by aluminium, zinc, iron, these are like middle order reaction metals. Okay. So it's like that. How many of you are familiar with the periodic table? How many of you have seen it, used it, studied it?
Ma'am, I have.
Not thoroughly,
I've
but
taken
yeah.
it.
Like if
I
you
have learned first 30.
okay, you don't have to learn it. Like if you have seen it, if you have it, I don't know, on your phone, a poster, wherever. Can you like raise your hand or something?
Ma'am, can you repeat?
How many of you are familiar with the periodic table?
It's not fully, but yeah. Something.
No, I don't expect you to know it by heart or anything. Like as long as you've seen it, you have a poster of it or in your book or somewhere, and you have an idea boxes mein kya hai, like the fact that they are elements, stuff like that. Okay, quite a few of you. So if you are familiar with the periodic table, na, figuring out the reactivity series gets really, really easy. In fact, this is something that we learn again when we do the chapter on periodic table. But let me
It's
just,
there in our textbook for this year.
yeah, you do have that chapter this year, that's why. But unfortunately, we are not starting off with that chapter. So let me get a full size image of it. All right. So this is like roughly the periodic table. So each of these blocks, each of these boxes represents an element. So you have hydrogen here, helium, okay. So it's like sodium, magnesium, potassium. You have the non-metals, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. So each box is a specific particular element. Sulfur, chlorine, okay. So the things, the elements that are on extremes, so these, the ones in red are extremely highly reactive. And the ones that are in the middle, right? So these are moderately reactive, not very reactive, kind of reactive. That's it. So if you compare this with your reactivity series, the extreme ones, so sodium, magnesium, potassium, calcium, they're all highly reactive metals. And at the bottom, like gold, silver, copper are very less reactive. And then you have the middle order ones like iron, zinc, tin, all of these, you'll find it over here, somewhere in the middle. Okay. So even when it comes to non-metals, the extreme ones like fluorine, chlorine, oxygen, these are all highly reactive. These ones. Noble gases though, don't even consider, they are not reactive at all. Yeah, like if you kind of, just, you don't have to learn everything by heart, just stare at it, figure out what these numbers mean, get familiar with the elements, and the periodic table is going to help you a lot. Like that's the whole reason it exists, to help you with this thing.
I have got one doubt after seeing that.
Yeah, Nirbal?
Ma'am, yeah, as you told that in the left side, they're all highly reactive, and in the middle, they're moderately reactive, right? And
Yeah,
then
these
which
are
is less reactive? Which is less reactive?
this side. So your moderately to less reactive will range over here. So gold, silver, platinum, you find it in one place, like right here. These are not at all reactive. Mercury is also like relatively not unreactive. It is more compared to gold and silver, but like still less reactive compared to copper, iron, and all of these. That way.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. Now the whole point is reactivity series important because more reactive will displace a less reactive. Yeah, Nikki.
What about the lower two lines in the table?
Oh, so these are also specific elements. These unka existence is over here. They're rare elements. Don't worry about them at one point. Like, yeah, if you think it's just going to be extra information that will not help you right now, it might get overwhelming. So don't worry
Ma'am.
about it for now. Yeah. Yeah, Aditya.
Ma'am, it is also said that they are the rarest, the rare substances on Earth, right?
Yeah, they're
The last
pretty
two
rare.
lines.
Yeah. Some of them don't even exist naturally. You have to like create them. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. Displacement reactions. More reactive can displace less reactive. The other way around, reaction will not happen. So example, the best visual example that we have is displacement of copper by iron. First, if you look at the reactivity series, which one is more reactive, iron or copper?
Iron.
Iron is more
Iron.
reactive. Yeah, iron is up here, copper is down here, right? So that is the reason iron is able to kick copper out and take its place. So if you put iron in a copper sulfate solution, iron will kick copper out, form iron sulfate, and copper is like independent now. It's elemental. Okay. So iron nail dipped in copper sulfate solution. Iron nail gets a coating of copper and the blue copper sulfate changes into green iron sulfate. So we'll look at the reaction now. There you go. This might have been confusing. Like Puneet, you asked me about yesterday or day before, right? So that's copper sulfate solution. That's actually copper sulfate dissolved in water. It's not pure copper sulfate. Once you dip iron, you can see that it's got a copper color coating. So you leave it more time, more of that reaction will take place. Acha, even though this copper deposited on iron, why did the blue copper sulfate not change its color? Why is it still like blue copper sulfate, the solution ka color? Anyone?
But ma'am, it does change to ferrous sulfate, right? Greenish color.
It is supposed to, but you've seen the visual evidence here. Even though the iron has a coating of copper, this is still blue. Why? Who can answer this? Yeah, Rishita, Vasudha, any idea what's happening here?
Ma'am, I'm not sure, but I think due to not appropriate temperature
Hmm,
around or the quantity of
But
iron
like-
coated.
very good. So it's the quantity is a factor here. So the reaction took place, but there is still a lot of copper in the solution. There's a lot of copper and less of ions in the solution. So it reacted, but it's just been what, like a few seconds. He just like dipped it, waited for like 5-10 seconds, and he took it out, right? So that was not enough time for the whole reaction to take place. Only the outer layer of iron got out of the nail, copper got deposited, and yeah, there's some quantity of iron, but it's not enough to change the whole color itself. So now he's gonna show like, okay, if you let that reaction happen for like hours and hours, that is what it's going to look like. And you can clearly see there's a lot more quantity of copper that got deposited. So now it's not just an outer coating, but there's like a solid layer of copper on the iron nail here. Okay.
And the color also changed into green.
Yeah, and then you can see that, that solution has turned green in color. These are important, you guys make a note of it. Usually if it's a blue color compound, that means it's a copper ka compound. So copper nitrate is blue, copper sulfate is blue. There may be slightly different shades of blue, but usually copper compounds are all blue.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
and do you have to note down the reactivity table?
Yeah, do note down the reactivity series. I'll post it again once we're done with displacement reactions, then note it down in a bit. So reactivity series ka table and also the reaction here. So for some of the questions, the colors are important. I mentioned yesterday also. Copper compounds usually are blue. Copper sulfate, you can see it's a brilliant blue color. Copper nitrate is also usually blue. It's a lighter blue, like a teal kind of color. So yeah, copper chloride also is like a version of blue. Yeah, Devi, what's up?
Ma'am, to make a solution,
Hmm?
which non-metal, like we only use sulfate.
No, any salt. So copper sulfate is a salt. It's like how you make salt solution. You take table salt and mix it in water, right? That way, if you take copper sulfate, that's a salt, you mix it in water, you get copper sulfate solution. If you take lead nitrate, you mix it in water, you get lead nitrate ka solution.
So I'm like, which will be the commonly like used to make the solution?
That depends on what reactant you're taking. Like these are all for a specific use. So when you say solution, it doesn't mean anything because you need to know if you're talking about ORS, oral rehydrating solution. That's salt and sugar solution. यहाँ पे displacement of copper like ये reaction कर रहे हो, so इसलिए you need to take copper sulfate का solution. अभी दूसरा कोई और reaction कर रहे हो, then it depends on what reaction you're doing, you need to take that solution. The common thing is you mix all of them in water. That's the thing. That's why you call them aqueous. Yeah. So you just take pure distilled water and you mix whatever required quantity of salt. Okay, so copper compounds are blue. Similarly, iron compounds are green. So iron, two compounds. अगर valency +2 है, these salts are green. Iron +3 है. So Fe with valency 3. So these are red in color. Like FeCl3 is a deep red, blood red solution. Rust is like reddish brown. Yeah. So note these down because like these things you need to remember. You need to know. And yesterday I had mentioned lead compounds. So lead, this thing is usually yellow. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Which
Note
can you
down
show that again?
which one?
The one which are written
Oh,
on the screen.
right.
Ma'am.
Done? ठीक है. So once you're done noting this down, yeah, note down the reactivity series because we will do some practice based on this. Just let me know once you're done noting this down, huh? Okay, Mansi said done. Vasudha is done. Yasmin's done. Four.
Ma'am,
Yeah, Aditya.
ma'am, we only have to note down the elements or even the line. Please stop calling this thing.
That's up to you. Like if you find that helpful, then note it down. Otherwise, just elements will do. What is important is that note down the elements and mark which is most reactive and least reactive. Okay, Tanisha and Aditya Rani are also done. 7 people done. Bhavika and Sarah also done. So that's 9. Trina is done. It's 10. Okay. So almost 50% of the class done. Remaining, quickly, wrap it up. Ranveer is done. It's 11. Blue is done. Okay. Dev we noted. It's 13. Oh, who else? Number 14. Abhishek Trivedi is done. Okay. Anirban is done. It's 15. Jaldi. So we have Aditya Mundra is remaining. Neil Prajapati, haven't heard from you. Ryan, haven't heard from you. Snehal, haven't heard from you. Rishita, you also not done, right? Yeah, no, haven't received from you. Okay, Rishita is also done. Good. Amey Sonkhaskar, I haven't heard from you either. Snehal is done, okay. Ryan and Amey. Amey is done, okay, gotcha. Okay. Neil Prajapati and Ryan Gandhi. Where are you guys? Niklia? Okay. Cool. So I'll write some reactions and it's your job to tell me, will it happen, yes or no? Okay. Can aluminium displace iron from its chloride? Yes, no. You can send it on chat. Mil gaya. Very good. Divya, why not?
Sorry.
Did you note down the reactivity series? Which one is more reactive,
Ma'am?
iron and aluminium?
Ma'am?
Yep.
Ma'am, actually, I got disconnected for some time. So after the noting down of reactivity table, do we have to do anything?
Yeah, so the reaction that I wrote on the screen, you need to tell me whether this is possible or not, yes or no.
Yeah, I have given the answer.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
ma'am, aluminium is more reactive, so it would be displaced by iron. So
Displaced
this
by night.
reaction,
More reactive will displace the less reactive.
yeah. So iron will displace.
Iron will be displaced.
Sorry.
Ah.
Aluminium will displace iron.
Yes. Aluminium can take iron's place. More reactive matlab willing to be an ion. Think of it this way. So यहाँ पे aluminium is got +3 status. It is ionic compound. So this is perfectly possible. Okay. So this happens. Next one is zinc plus aluminium sulfate gives zinc sulfate plus aluminium. All the answers that have been coming are correct. Good. Very good. Yes. Correct. Mansi, Bhavika, Nikki, Anirban. Yeah. Neil, absolutely right. Very good. So Neil, why do you so far everybody who has answered said no, this is not gonna happen. Neil, why will it not happen? Why is this reaction not correct?
Ma'am, because like zinc is less reactive than aluminium.
Correct. Zinc is less reactive than aluminium. It is not capable of displacing it from this thing. Next reaction. Zinc plus copper sulfate gives zinc sulfate plus copper. Yeah, very good. Awesome stuff. Elena, can you answer this? Will it happen or not, and give reason for that?
Ma'am, according to me, the reaction will happen because zinc is more reactive than copper, so it will displace.
Very good. Correct. Absolutely right. Devi, I am going to do that. Yes. Eventually getting to it. We're just getting warmed up, no? So now that I know you guys got a hang of it, I'll also have to think of some reactions, some elements. If I mix potassium nitrate and drop a small piece of magnesium in it. So I've got potassium nitrate solution, drop magnesium in it. What is the observation? What will happen? What happens when a piece of magnesium is dropped in potassium nitrate? No. Puneet, what is that?
No, it will not happen. Dude,
So few of you have messaged. Yes, now more are coming. Are Anirban, you also. What are the elements or compounds involved here, Anirban?
I'm not getting that.
Like, what is this compound? What are the two ions you get from this compound?
Ma'am, potassium.
Potassium, yes.
The next one I'm not getting.
Potassium, hatake, what else is left?
I don't know.
Array, you can see here, potassium you said correctly. So that's the cation, K plus. Potassium, like if you
Oh, ma'am, is it potassium nitrate?
nitrate, yeah, NO3 minus. Okay, and then you have magnesium. Magnesium, what sort of ion will it form?
Cation.
Cation. That's Mg2 plus. Okay, so now all you need to check is only positive and negative will attract with each other. You need to check if magnesium is capable of, kicking potassium out and forming magnesium nitrate or not. So do you think it'll do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Because Mg is 2 positive and NO is negative. That's why.
But in order for magnesium to form a compound, it needs to replace potassium. Is it capable of doing that?
No, ma'am.
So यहाँ पे there will not be any reaction. You can say no reaction, no change, nothing happens, it remains the same. Okay. So basically displacement reactions में क्या हो रहा है ना? solution में है, the compound will dissociate into ions, and then you have whatever other metal you're dropping in the solution. Abhi, the two cations are in competition for the single anion. So whichever is more reactive will form a compound with the anion. So K plus Mg2 plus may, because this is more reactive, your eventual whatever product you get is going to be KNO3 only, whatever you started off with. So that is why we say that there is no reaction happening. Okay. What happens when I take copper sulfate solution and add small pieces of sodium in it? Carefully, of course, all masked up and at a safe distance. So whenever the question is like talking about what happens when, try to also mention the physical observation, what you're going to see. You guys are all correct. You gave me the equation also, which is brilliant. But what is the visual observation that you will see? Like you can't literally see sodium atoms displacing copper, right? So what is the visual thing you're going to see? Puneet, yes, absolutely. So mention what is that thing? Jasmine, you're also right. Right track you're thinking of. Just be a little specific what you'll observe. Yeah. So when you initially take the reactants, you're taking copper sulfate and you're taking sodium. Like, what is it gonna look like to an observer who has no idea what compounds you're taking and all of that?
Copper sulfate will look like blue and
Yes. So this is a blue solution, and sodium salts are usually colorless. Yeah. So 0.1, sodium is more reactive. So this reaction will absolutely take place. So when this takes place, you get sodium sulfate. Sodium sulfate का formula क्या है?
Na2SO4.
Very good. Na2SO4, and copper is displaced out. So what happens is, one, mention that reaction takes place, mention the equation. Like mention that it's a displacement reaction. Say that sodium displaces copper from its sulfate. Second, give the visual. So blue solution turns colorless. Okay. So sodium sulfate is colorless. And you can also add, sodium disappears. They say sodium cube, sodium blocks, whatever. While there's a coating of copper, copper crystal is formed. Crystals are formed. Okay. Yeah, Aditya, what's up?
Yeah, ma'am, I just wanted to ask that, is it okay if we don't let blue solution turns into colorless? And we can write in bracket after the equation, it's colorless.
After
That is
the
also
equation,
okay,
like
right?
don't write it the way you sent it on chat, because that doesn't make sense. What you can do is, under the equation, you can write under copper sulfate, you can write blue and this as colorless. That is fine.
Okay.
Under it you can write, or you can write it as a sentence just below the equation also. Yeah, cool, awesome. So yeah, like you guys got the hang of displacement reactions also. You can figure out. So couple of you need to be careful. Check which is more reactive. That will only form a compound. So if it's the same as what you started off with, तो reaction नहीं हो रहा है. It's different from what you started off with, मतलब reaction हुआ है. Okay. Next comes double displacement reaction. So displacement में you have one compound and one is kicking out the other and taking its place. In double displacement, you have two compounds, the reaction which two ionic compounds basically exchange their ions, and one product precipitates out of the solution are called, this needs to be double displacement solution. Let's make a correction. And in some places, this needs to be double displacement. So these reactions have many different names, okay? They're also called replacement reactions, double replacement reactions. They're also called double decomposition reactions. Okay. So there's like another name for it. This you might rarely ever come across, but they're called salt metathesis. Let me quickly check the spelling. Salt metathesis. Okay. So yeah, 4 different names, all are the same reaction. So textbook में नहीं है, but in case Olympiad में या फिर कोई और paper में, in case you come across, just make a note of it. So they are double displacement reaction, also called double replacement reaction, also called double decomposition reaction, and salt metathesis reaction. 4 different names, all for the same reaction. Okay. Noted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So example, or let's see what happens during double displacement. So double displacement, visually, like if you have to recognize it, it is very easy. So you can see what's happening here. You're taking two compounds, lead nitrate hai, potassium iodide hai. Product mein, they both are exchanging, cation anions are getting exchanged. Lead takes up the iodide, so it becomes PbI2, and the potassium takes up the nitrate. So lead takes the iodine, potassium takes the nitrate. So you get lead iodide and potassium nitrate. So you can see that the cation and anion, what you started off with, what you ended up with, are all exchanged. That's the only thing. Like if you are given an equation and you needed to figure out what type it is, just see if the ions are exchanged. If they are, it's a double displacement reaction. Okay. That is the main tell of a double displacement reaction. If the ions are exchanged, it's double displacement. Another important aspect of double displacement is this little arrow that you have here. You need, like double displacement ke liye, you will need a precipitate to happen. Yellow lead iodide precipitates out. So double displacement reaction have to compulsorily be precipitation reactions. So precipitation process needs to happen during double displacement. Nahi to that, like, you can't say whether that reaction has happened or not. Okay. So I'll quickly show you guys the visual for this, and then I'll get into one, why is it called double decomposition, and two, why is precipitation important for double displacement reactions. So these are like two things that you need to know about this reaction. So it's the same reaction that is there over here. It's a reaction between potassium iodide and lead nitrate. So on the screen, you can see two beakers. How would you describe these beakers? What do you see on the screen? Bhavika? Yeah, Bhavika Jain, are you there? Okay, Bhavika's not there. Ranveer?
Yes.
Yeah, so how would you describe what is there on the screen? Like, do they have any? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, two jars with water.
Yeah, they're two beakers, except it's not water. It's they are potassium iodide and lead nitrate. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like water. Basically, they're transparent. They're colorless, right? So let's see what happens now when we mix it up. So you add one into the other. And right now, my internet decides to hang. Let me play it again.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
can we show the slide? For a
I'll go
second?
back to it, Aditya. We're in the middle of this, no?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Let me switch off. Yeah. So you can see as soon as one solution was added to the other, both of them are colorless, but suddenly it turned yellow. So why did it turn yellow?
Because of lead.
Precipitate was formed.
Yeah, precipitate of lead iodide. It's the yellow precipitate of lead iodide. So there's another video. This happened really quickly. So this other video, I added it just today morning. So in case, yeah, yesterday it would not have been there. So this shows clearly exactly how and why that precipitate is formed. Like, you can't see the actual atoms and molecules reacting, but it shows you, where they are reacting and how they are reacting. So you add drop by drop, only the place where this one solution is interacting with the other, only there you will see the white yellow solid. Okay. So there is one particular shot where they take only a few drops of this solution and that solution, and they kind of make a bridge out of it. That is very beautiful. Like you can see here now, this is a good way to see how So you form a bridge between both the solutions in water, like water is important. And you can see a thin thread of yellow form. So that is the only place where both the solutions are meeting, which is why, you have the yellow precipitate being formed. So that clearly shows that, a yellow precipitate will happen only when both of them meet because of the reaction between them. And then as the solutions start mixing with each other, the precipitate's gonna spread out. So yeah, watch this whole video when you guys, like after the class, can check the playlist out. Now, coming to the point, why should displacement reactions also be precipitation reactions? I think this is like one of the questions either in textbook or exemplar or at some place. This is a question that's asked, like, why are double displacement reactions also called precipitation reactions?
They involve formation of precipitate due to the exchange of ions.
So what if they don't form a precipitate? Why is it important? Like, why is a precipitate important? Okay, so to answer this, you'll have to like zoom into the solution and see how reactions are taking place. So any reaction, chemical reaction में क्या होता है? So you have a reactant and you have another reactant. Now bonds are broken between these and then new bonds are formed, right? Like after a reaction, you need some sort of new bonds being formed. Rough example, very rough example. If the red particle and the blue particle are to join with each other, will it happen if they are far away from each other?
No, they need to be very close to each other.
Yeah, it's not just they need to be very close to each other. One of them needs to hit the other with a certain force, with a certain velocity. You have like stuff like activation energy and all. But yeah, so there needs to, like, collision needs to happen between both of them. They both need to collide with each other. Okay. Now in double displacement reactions, you have blue cation 1 and let's say red anion 1. This is 1. So when this particular salt is added, what happens is that they both separate out, like they both dissociate into different ions. Like they both dissociate into positive and negative ions. So all these ions are floating in water just like that. The blue cations and the red anions. Okay. Similarly, for the other particle also, let's say you have maroon cations and green anions. They're all floating in water. Precipitate का definition क्या है? So precipitate happens when a particular salt is not soluble. अगर एक salt insoluble है, it means that as long as that salt is formed, it is going to come outside the solution. It's not dissolved anymore. Matlab, it's not going to remain as ions. So for example, let's say this green and blue se jo salt form hoga, that is going to be a precipitate. Now in double displacement, all these ions are floating around. By chance, if these two hit each other, positive, negative hai, matlab they are going to attract each other. So then if they form a salt like this, and this happens to be insoluble, then it's not going to be in the solution anymore. So if it is not in solution, then there is no chance for this blue and green ions to react anymore because they're not in ionic state anymore. Kyunki they became a salt, they became neutral, and they got out of the solution. And pani mein, you will only have these red and maroon ions just floating around. Okay. So if this precipitation did not happen, all the 4 ions would still be dissolved in water itself, and they would still be in ionic state. Like you don't know whether a reaction has happened or not because all the ions are just there in dissolved form. But if a precipitation has happened, we can clearly see that original compound jo tha, that has broken down and a new compound has formed here. Yeah, so precipitation is a way for us to observe that there is a reaction that has taken place, and because this is not in water anymore, we can be 100% sure that the reverse reaction, we are not going to get the reactants back again. Okay, so that's kind of the reason why double displacement reactions are also called precipitation reactions. That is why in double displacement, the fact that at least one compound precipitates out, that part is very important. Okay. So in your chapter notes, there is a table given that indicates the solubility of different salts. So that will help you figure out, like if you need to figure out double displacement reactions now, just ensure that at least one insoluble compound is there in the products. So barium sulfate is another insoluble compound. So figure out any reaction how you can prepare barium sulfate. इसके लिए all you need is एक barium का compound होना चाहिए और एक sulfate का compound होना चाहिए. So you can take something like barium chloride plus sodium sulfate. Then these two will react to give barium sulfate plus sodium chloride. So barium sulfate precipitates out, it's a displacement reaction. Okay. So yeah, double displacement mein, the ions are getting exchanged. This goes to potassium and lead takes iodide. And at least one of the compound needs to precipitate out. Clear?
Can you re-explain?
Okay. Which part of it do you need explanation, Anirban?
The whole part.
The whole thing. Okay. So I'll take actual example and explain it. I'll take the same this thing itself. So you have potassium. So you taking potassium iodide plus lead nitrate into the reaction. So they both are in aqueous form. Aqueous matlab you're dissolving them in water. Like you saw it in the video. They look like water. You dissolve these salts in water. So when you mix, originally when they are separate, whenever you take potassium iodide and put it in water, you have K+ ions and I- ions. It breaks down immediately into your cation and anion. Similarly, lead nitrate also, in its own beaker, in its own jar, it breaks down into lead ions and nitrate ions. Okay. So now when you mix both of them together in a single vessel, so you have water. Now this solution will consist of potassium ions, iodide ions, lead ions, and nitrate ions. Right? Charo साथ में है. Now all of them are not going to be stationary. They're going to move around here and there. So positive are going to repel. So in दोनों में कुछ नहीं होगा. Negative will repel. Nothing's going to happen. Positive, negative can attract each other, but if the salt is soluble, they will again separate out and remain as ions. Here, lead iodide, PbI2, when these two join, there is no chance for them to turn back into ions, because once these two join and turn into PbI2, this is insoluble. Insoluble matlab pani mein dissolve nahi hoga. Like it won't be mixed in water. It is going to get out of the solution. So what is resultant is pani mein potassium nitrate, whichever is the other product. This is in dissolved form as K plus and NO3 minus, and lead iodide, which is insoluble, is going to separate out as a solid. So this is what we call precipitate. This is lead iodide because it cannot mix in water. You will not have Pb2 plus and I minus anymore. Okay. Now, if you don't have any lead ions or iodide ions, you can't, like, because this separated out as a solid, this can't go back into the solution to reform your potassium iodide, right? So it being a precipitate, it coming back, it being insoluble, has marked that a reaction has happened. Like you can see that there is some reaction happening because out of nowhere you got the yellow solid. And it also marks that reaction has completed. Because if you take away the iodide part from this, all the iodide has combined with lead. So that's it, right? Like all, like potassium iodide and lead nitrate together, they have completely turned into lead iodide and potassium nitrate. There is no other chance for anything else to happen. Okay. So because of this fact, it is important that double displacement may at least one product should precipitate out. Agar precipitate nahi hua na, if this didn't happen, then these four ions would forever be floating in the solution and we won't have a clear picture of, is their product being formed at all, or, are they more likely to remain as Ki and lead nitrate itself? If it was not insoluble, if it was dissolved in water, ye fir se pani mein jata hai, like this is going to go back into water and it's going to just remain as ions in solution. Like we can't figure out if there is a reaction happened or not.
Ma'am, in exam, if they ask this, then how to write it like short?
Yeah, Mansi also asked, like, how do you frame an answer for this? But before I give you guys the answer, framing of answer, concept समझ में आया क्या? Anirban?
Yes, getting clear.
Okay. I'll see if I have any other resource. Like, is everybody on the same page? Like, everybody has gotten it, or is it still are you still doubtful about it?
Ma'am, we are still processing it.
Okay. Simple. Ionic compounds hai, they split into positive and negative ion when added in water. Point 1, ionic compounds. Okay, this is not your answer, huh? This is, I'm just trying to put it across to you guys. So in water, ionic compounds split into positive and negative ions. That is if they dissolve in water. So when you put two ionic compounds together, all these ions are floating around. They will hit each other. If K plus I minus hit each other, it's still going to be Ki only. If these two hit each other, it's still going to be this only. But when you mix, if they hit each other, potassium nitrate, lead iodide, then there is a chance of new product forming. Yahan tak is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now comes the question of solubility. Agar insoluble hai, so in this situation, PbI2 is insoluble. So when these two hit each other, it is going to get out of the solution. It's not dissolved anymore, it is solid. इसलिए we are saying that अच्छा यहाँ पे वो product नहीं था, but after we mix them एक नया product आया, so we are saying that reaction has happened.
Ma'am,
Yep.
ma'am, PbIO2 become residues and then we take out them, like something like
If you
that.
want, like if you want to take it, yeah, PbI2 filter paper में डाल के you can separate it out. Now the question, like why is it this particular part being insoluble is important is, if it is not insoluble, agar bahar nahi aaya, then it is going to be in this situation forever. And we can never tell if reaction has happened or not. Kyunki sare ions solution mein hi hai, and we didn't get anything out of it. It's just a mixture of these two solutions. We can't really say that, reaction hua ki nahi. वो हमें पता नहीं, because we didn't get any new product. That's all there is to it. So if you have to like formulate an answer from this, how you can put it is, in double displacement reactions, precipitation is important. Like, why are double displacement reactions also called precipitation reaction? This is because double displacement reactions can happen only if one of the products precipitates out. If the product did not precipitate out, then there is no indication of a reaction happening. That is why double displacement reactions are also called precipitation reactions. Like the fact that we got a new substance here tells us that, oh, there is a new product. Oh, there's a reaction that happened. That's what we're trying to put across. Okay?
Ma'am, could you repeat that?
Yeah.
Ma'am, can you please show the whiteboard for a second?
Whiteboard, okay. It's just like a bunch of scribbles. Abhi, but... So the sentence, like the answer would be, double displacement reactions are also called precipitation reactions, is because in double displacement reaction, like double displacement reactions, like what did I just say? Double displacement reactions are identified when one of the products precipitates out. Like the reaction does not happen until and unless one of the product precipitates out. Yeah, write this down. So in double displacement reaction, the reaction does not proceed or move forward until one of the products precipitates out. That is why they're also called precipitation reactions.
Ma'am, can you please repeat?
Yeah. So in double displacement reactions, the reaction does not move forward unless one of the products precipitates out. So that is why they're also called precipitation reactions.
Ma'am, forward unless
at least one of the products, I'll type it out here. In double displacement reactions, the reaction does not move forward unless one of the products precipitates out. So that is why they are also called, or double displacement reactions are also called precipitation reactions. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Cool. So those are like the 2 points about double displacement reactions. Next comes points about oxidation and reduction. This is again slightly confusing, so you guys need to pay attention. What do you mean by oxidation and reduction? Like this, you must, like, if you've completed the chapter, you must be aware of it.
Ma'am, oxidation means addition of oxygen and reduction means removal of oxygen.
That is one aspect of it. Yeah, that's how it originated. That is why you have the word oxidation. Oxygen add kare, isliye it's oxidation. Another way to look at it is addition of oxygen ho sakta hai, removal of hydrogen bhi ho sakta hai. So in case you see that, hydrogen atom has been removed, that also can be considered oxidation, and uska opposite reduction is addition of hydrogen. And this is the most foolproof way to look at it. Agar reaction mein oxygen bhi nahi hai, hydrogen bhi nahi hai, how do you figure out if it's oxidation or reduction? Is you look at the movement or transfer of electrons. So agar ek process mein there has been loss of electrons, then it is called oxidation. Agar loss of electrons matlab something else must have gained electrons, so that part of the reaction is called reduction. Reduction is gain of electrons. So with respect to oxygen, hydrogen, it's very easy. They're opposite of each other, and naam se bhi there is relation. Oxidation is addition of oxygen, so uska opposite removal of hydrogen hoga oxidation. Now, an easy way to remember gain or loss of electrons is just remember oil rig. So with respect to electrons, yeah, this is for electrons. Oil is, or oxidation is loss, losing electrons, and reduction is gain of electrons, RIG. This is for electrons, okay? And in some reactions, agar ek reaction hai, like simple, let's go with our original displacement reaction. So you have iron plus copper sulfate gives iron sulfate plus copper. Isme which element is undergoing oxidation?
Fe.
Fe and FeSO4.
Yeah. So Fe is turning into FeSO4. You can see that pehle iron was independent, yahan pe oxygen add hua hai. So you can say this is oxidation. And which part of the reaction is undergoing reduction?
Copper.
CuSO4 and Cu.
Yes. So when a question is asking which element or which substance is undergoing reduction, always answer with the reactant. So copper sulfate is undergoing reduction into copper. So पहले oxygen था, फिर reaction के बाद नहीं है. So removal of oxygen has happened. ठीक है. So with respect to oxygen, it's easy. ये apply नहीं होगा क्योंकि इस reaction में hydrogen नहीं है. Now, how to look at it with respect to electrons? Okay. So when you look at oxidation part of it, Fe to FeSO4, यहाँ पे ion का charge कुछ है क्या इसमें?
No.
Is there a charge on ion? Is this in ionic
No.
form or
It
is
is
it
not. It is
atomic?
not ion. Atomic
It's
form.
not ion. Yeah, it's atomic form.
But meeting with SO4, it turns into positive.
हाँ, like FeSO4 में ion के ऊपर कितना charge है?
Fe2 plus SO4 2 minus.
So this is an ionic compound now. So Fe has turned into an ion. Fe has +2 क्योंकि SO4 is -2. So if you focus on ion, यहाँ पे there is 0 charge and यहाँ पे there is charge of +2. How does an atom turn into a cation? How do you get cations?
Loss of electrons.
Loss of electrons. So that's how you can figure out, okay, यहाँ पे oxidation हुआ है. Loss of electrons is oxidation. So same thing, oxygen add होना or loss of electrons, both of them you can say they're oxidation. Similarly, if you compare copper also, copper sulfate ionic compound है ना, तो यहाँ पे copper के ऊपर कितना charge है?
But ma'am, even on single Fe, there is a charge of +2, right?
No. Again, this is
We
something
say
I've been saying.
Fe2+.
No, so Fe2 plus is like when you're learning about valencies, you say, okay, ion forms Fe2 plus, ion forms Fe3 plus. That's why they have a special name, ferrous, ferric. But reactions may metal, if you take a metal, you're not taking its ion, you're taking a neutral metal. Hamesha reactants and products are always neutral. यहाँ पे आयन सल्फेट इंडिविजुअली आयन पे +2 है, बट क्योंकि सल्फर के पास -2 है, they cancel each other out and this whole thing is neutral. Iron, metal, all metals, pure metals are neutral. They are never ions. Okay, so there's 0 over here. Copper sulfate में specifically over copper कितना charge है?
2 plus.
2.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 plus +2 because sulfate के साथ it is joined, right? And sulfate ion is always -2, so copper has to be +2. And copper metal जो आ रहा है, is it ionic or neutral?
0.
Neutral.
Neutral.
Yeah, so this would be
Neutral.
0. So +2 को 0 कैसे बना सकते हो?
Gain of electrons. 2 electrons.
So electrons के ऊपर what is the charge?
Negative.
Negative.
Negative, right? Matlab, if you add 2 electrons here, so if you add 2 electrons here, it means that you're giving it charge of -2. So +2 -2 cancels each other and turns into 0, which means that there is gain of electrons happening that corresponds to reduction. So copper sulfate to copper is reduction. Okay, so this is how you track oxygen. Though it's pretty easy. Agar oxygen ke saath hai, like if you add oxygen, like you saw this happen in sulfate, it's oxidation. Removal of oxygen is a reduction. But if you had to look at it from the point of view of electrons, this is how you figure out. Like you see, what is the charge on left hand side? Reactant. What is the charge after the reaction took place, and if there's any change happening here. Okay. So this whole reaction, both oxidation and reduction are happening. So these kind of reactions where you find both oxidation and reduction, they are called redox reactions. Redox because reduction भी हो रहा है और oxidation भी हो रहा है. Redox reactions. Here. Are you noting this down or should I go to the next slide?
Ma'am,
Wait.
Okay.
ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, I just noted the oxidant reduction, the statements. We have to note down the formula to the reaction.
Yeah. Like identifying oxidation reduction. No. Note this down. This is an example.
Okay.
And
once.
Yeah, it'll help you work it out. It'll help you figure out how to identify oxidation, how to identify reduction. Okay. Let me know when you guys are ready. We'll go to the next slide. Okay. Cool. I'm going to the next slide. If anyone's still noting, stop me and I'll wait for a bit.
1 second.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So identifying redox reactions. Now all of them, no, not all of them are redox reaction. No, yeah. In this case, all of them are redox reactions. Let's go one by one. So pehla wala reaction mein, you have two reactants, copper sulfide and nitric acid. So which one is undergoing oxidation between both of these?
Copper sulfide.
Copper sulfide.
Copper sulfide.
Yeah, this is pretty easy. So if you look at the copper compound, product may it's turning into copper sulfate. So clearly oxygen is added. So this is oxidation, which means that what is undergoing reduction?
Ma'am, HNO3.
HNO3. So एक oxidation
Have
हो रहा
like
है.
after balancing we have to check if it is less or before balancing we have to check.
Either or, like in this case, balancing doesn't matter because you're literally looking at the compound itself. So kitna molecules hua hai, that is not so much, that's not significant if you're identifying exclusively oxidation reduction. But yeah. Okay.
Ma'am,
So-
this one is reduction because hydrogen is added, right?
Hydrogen add kahan pe hua? In fact, there has been removal of hydrogen.
No, okay, it already has.
So reduction because HNO3 में nitrogen is attached to 3 oxygen atoms. But this is turning into NO and nitrogen is attached to 1 oxygen atom, which means that for every nitrogen, 2 oxygen atoms have been removed that way. So technically though, you'll have to get into something called oxidation state, which you don't have in your syllabus at this point of time. But this is like a quick trick hacky way of seeing it. So yeah, just check. Like this is how you can identify oxygen add hua ki, remove hua ki and all of that. And another way to look at it is, if one is obviously oxidation, then यहाँ पे oxygen कहीं से तो आना चाहिए ना. And in the reactant side, you don't have anything other than nitric acid. So nitric acid is the one that must have provided oxygen for copper sulfate, which means that this has lost some amount of oxygen atoms. Okay. So this part is oxidation.
HNO3 got converted into NO.
Yeah.
So it has also like lost hydrogen.
Yeah. It has loss of hydrogen, but it has also lost oxygen. The loss of oxygen is more than whatever it had due to loss of hydrogen. Think of it that
What
way.
about H2 then? So H2 will be H2.
H2 is a byproduct. Yeah, it's just formed side में. Yeah. That is why oxidation reduction, only the reactants you can say it has undergone oxidation or it has undergone reduction that way. You need to see what happened from the reactant's perspective. Oxygen add hua ki nahi, remove hua ki nahi, what is the thing? Okay, let me clear it out. I'll write it neatly. So this part is oxidation. Whenever you're indicating oxidation reduction in your notes, right, you need to write it exactly in this way. Draw the line from the reactant to that specific product, and then write it on the line what is oxidation. So here reduction ke liye I'm specifically pointing from nitrogen to this nitrogen compound. Okay, so this is reduction. Now come the aspects of oxidizing agent and reducing agent. Oxidizing agent, also called oxidants, and reducing agent, called reductant. Okay. What do you mean by oxidizing agent?
Adds oxygen.
All of you must have heard of agents, right? Like travel agent.
Yeah.
What does a travel agent do?
It's
Travels from one place to another.
Will the travel agent travel, or will the travel agent help you in traveling?
They
But-
recommend us like. Yeah, they help us.
they make you travel, right? They recommend places, they will give you tickets. Agent itself is not going to travel. So similarly, oxidizing agent is something that will help in oxidation. So in this reaction, CuS is the one that's getting oxidized. This is undergoing oxidation. ये oxidize होने के लिए what is giving it oxygen?
HNO3.
HNO3. So HNO3, the one that's making the oxidation happen, this will be the oxidizing agent. So oxidizing agent is the substance that helps or enables oxidation to happen, or that makes oxidation happen. So makes oxidation happen matlab oxidation is addition of oxygen, right? So it's a substance that provides oxygen maybe, or it's a substance that takes away the hydrogen. Agar wo oxidation removal of hydrogen se ho raha hai na, so then that takes away hydrogen. Or oxidation is loss of electrons, right? So it may take away electrons, something that pulls electrons. Okay. So oxidizing agent is something that may provide oxygen, or it may take away hydrogen, or it may take away electrons. So the substance that enables oxidation to happen. तो अगर reaction में oxidizing agent identify करना है, तो simple trick is once you can figure out what is oxidation, what is reduction, जो oxidize हो रहा है, the compound other than that will be the oxidizing agent. And similarly, reducing agent के लिए something that takes away oxygen or provides hydrogen or provides electrons, something that makes reduction happen. So again, reducing agent के लिए, once you identify reduction, the compound other than that, so in this case, CuS will be the reducing agent. Clear about this?
Yeah.
Okay. I will clear this reaction related stuff up. Now send your answer on chat for this reaction. So first identify oxidation. So you can just specify the half reaction. Like I'll do oxidation for you guys. Addition of oxygen ho raha hai zinc se, right? Yeah, so you can, when you answer, you can send this half part of the reaction. Oxidation is zinc turning into zinc sulfate, is it? So similarly, send me what is reduction. Send me just the half reaction that's happened there. Very nice. So Puneet, Mansi, Ranveer, yes. Abhishek Trivedi got it. Elena got it. Bhavika got it. Nikki got it. Correct. Anirban, yes. You sent oxidation. Send reduction. Okay. So once you're done with this, identify what is the oxidizing agent. What is the oxidant? Very nice. Cool. Oxidizing agent. Puneet, always oxidizing agent, reducing agent, jo bhi hai, they're all, there will be compounds from the reactants only. Products are not in picture here. Yeah, Netri got reductant also. Very good. Anirban, what did I say? Zinc is the one getting oxidized. Matlab, it won't be oxidizing agent also, right? Zinc is gaining oxygen, matlab wo oxygen kidhar se aaya? So the compound other than that will be the oxidant, oxidizing agent. Elena, Mansi got reductant. Good stuff. Netri and Puneet. So yeah, as I just said, oxidizing agents, reducing agents, you will have to get them from the reactants only. So zinc sulfate, copper will be nothing. It's between zinc and copper sulfate only.
Ma'am, I've sent you the oxidant and reductant, right? Like you
Reductant
only
aaya. Reductant is right. Oxidant, you got it wrong. It is not copper. Puneet also sent copper. That is not correct. Like you have to pick from the reactants only. Mansi, yes. Elena, yes. Puneet, ha. Baad mein you sent both of them. Yes. The second time you sent is correct.
And Tetris is
Anirban,
fine.
huh? Checking. I'm just checking one at a time. Anirban, you sent exact opposite of what I just said. Ignore the products. Reactant se hi milega oxidizing agent, reducing agent.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Neki, correct. Aditya, oxidant, reductant, correct. Aditya Mundra. Ha. Netri, now you got it. Oxidant, correct. Abhishek Trivedi, reductant, correct. Okay. Abhishek Trivedi, just, I'm not sure if it's a typo or what, but just check the solution for reductant. Reductant hona chahiye. So Anirban, if zinc is getting oxidized, yeah, now you got it, correct. So most of you, whoever has sent an answer, you sent it right. Like wherever it is wrong, I've pointed it out. So yeah, oxidant is copper sulfate because this is the one providing the oxygen, and reductant is zinc because this is the one that's taking away oxygen from copper sulfate. Yeah, in other way of looking at it is zinc to ZnSO4 क्योंकि ये हो गया oxidation. Other than zinc, whatever you have, copper sulfate will be the oxidizing agent. And similarly, this is reduction, so this is going to be reducing agent. Okay. So the other two reactions, work it out on your own because we are pressed for time. And apart from this, we just have corrosion and rancidity. How do you guys feel about corrosion and rancidity as a concept?
Just easy.
Easy, right? If you have any specific things you want to discuss, let's do that about corrosion rancidity. Otherwise, you guys can study and then I'll give you guys questions for practice.
I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Now, why heat symbol is represented by triangle?
Oh, that I don't know. I'll have to go into the etymology. I haven't researched that. But basically, triangle is basically, this is a Greek alphabet. So this is capital delta. Delta is basically Greek for D. So I don't know what the connection is, but it's not the fact that it's a triangle, it's capital D, like delta is what is representing heat.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
All right.
ma'am,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ma'am, will we have another session for covalent reactivity and some revising concepts like
I will let you know because abhi sabka vacation chalu hua na. So I'll see if there's any like practice sessions that are scheduled instead of new chapters, and yeah, you'll be informed of that. Agar koi, like if you guys are having so many doubts, you're not able to do it, then we'll schedule one. Otherwise, I'll give you guys questions for practice. Because basic examples, identifying what reaction is what, wo to you guys are able to do it. I saw that you are doing it. So try it out. If there's any specific thing you're not able to do, then we'll figure out, we'll schedule something for that.
we will upload the PPT, right? The
PPT is sent on the group
answer.
already, and yeah, recording for this, I'll be uploading it.